Hey guys, it's Chris Hare, camera operator, DP. We're here in LA looking at the new DJI RS4 Pro and the DJI Focus Pro. We're gonna combine the two today into what I think is one of the most powerful camera movement, camera control systems on the market today. We're gonna be mounting a camera, small camera FX3 on the RS4 Pro, and then rigging up the DJI Focus Pro on there. We're gonna kind of go over a one-man band run and gun setup, and then also branch out and use the new Focus Pro handset with the RS4 Pro, and then tie in the DJI Lidar and the DJI Transmission into like a super versatile, flexible system where you can use it with 1, 2, or 3-man teams. Let's get started. So I went into what's in the DJI Focus Pro kit in another video. I'll link that down below. This is gonna be more what's in the RS4 Pro kit, what makes it new, and then kind of how to combine these two into a really cool system. So let's open up the DJI Focus Pro. So we got the DJI Focus Pro handset. This comes with the all-in-one combo, and then we have basically what comes in the creator combo with 2 additional motors that we've added to this kit separately. So let's get this all out. We got our different mounting brackets here. We got our 15mm iris rod. This is a standard 15mm instead of the old 10mm iris rod. So these motors are gonna work on any camera system, not just DJI. We have the power cable. This is gonna be for power distribution with their new power hub. This is specifically for the RS4. We got our normal USB-C cables and some extra marking rings. We got the new DJI Lidar, new and improved, longer range, more accuracy, more focusing points, better in every way. We're not gonna be using this with the RS4 Pro. This is more for your handheld shoulder setups. But if you wanna see more about this, go check out the other video about the DJI Focus Pro I made, that's down below. Now let's get into the DJI RS4 Pro. So same kind of soft bag carry case. Got the new gimbal here, pretty sweet. This is gonna have more powerful motors than the RS3. You still have your automated axis locks. There's less play in those now. They feel a little sturdier. You have a new Teflon coated arms, so your adjustments are much smoother. You have a slightly larger roll arm here, so for like a little bit longer camera builds, it's gonna be nice. There's this new switch on the side to change what your joystick and your focus wheel do. They've also included a new base plate that actually comes apart like this for easy switches to vertical video shooting. So you leave your camera mounted and you just move the plate to go to 9:16. Super handy for social content. If you're having to do 9:16 and 16:9 on the same day, you just switch your camera. So you got all your other standard cables and accessories. You got your Raven Eye, all your different HDMI cables. Got your lens support, new 15mm rod bracket that goes on the front of the camera plates. Got your little mini camera riser, some more USB cables and screws and manuals, you know, that kind of stuff. In the back here, you got your phone mount, as with the RS3. You got your battery grip. DJI has also made a new battery grip, a giant version. This thing's great. This will run you all day long, no worries. I'm a fan of this. It also gives you a little more room to grab onto. So you got a new battery. You got the kind of briefcase low mode handle again, comes with that kit. 15mm rod. This 15mm rod is gonna go into the new camera base plate with the 15mm rod bracket, just like that. Then this slides into their camera plate like so, gives you left to right balance. You also have an extended camera plate. If you want to use this, you'll bolt straight on. You can use their 15mm rod mount on the end of this to get your rods for your focus motors. So those are really handy. And then of course, you get the classic DJI tripod, as well as one of the new DJI Focus Pro motors with the 15mm rod mount. So that's a lot of stuff. All right, here's all our pieces. Let's put it together. Got my favorite Allen keys, the PB Swiss Rainbow Allens, color coded. You always know which one you're grabbing. Link for these down below. First thing I'm gonna do, we got our FX3 right here. Got our Tokina 11 to 20. So we're gonna kind of look at zoom and focus control with the RS4 Pro and the DJI Focus Pro. So I'm gonna put on their base plate first. This one has the 15mm rod mount. Make sure that's nice and straight. And that's gonna slide into the camera plate, like so. Just like that. But let's put our first focus motor on. We'll say this one will go on focus. We got our focus motor on there. Let's get our zoom motor on. I'm gonna do that on the opposite side. I got this DJI rod thing. Odd NATO rail thingy. It comes with these longer screws. I switched them out for some shorter ¼ just so I can go into this camera cage without bottoming out. I'm gonna put 2 screws in so it doesn't twist around on us. And drop that motor on to the zoom. Slide that on the camera plate. The fine adjustment wheel to go forward and back. It's pretty good. So I'm actually gonna slide this focus motor back to my zoom ring, and I'm gonna take the zoom motor and slide it forward to the focus ring because I want a little room to plug in my USB-C cables right here, so that'll do that for me. We got our motors all lined up now, and I'm gonna do the first USB-C cable. We're gonna start with the Lidar. So the Lidar, plug it into the right port, and that's gonna go into the bottom port on the front of the RS4 Pro. And then the motors you can plug in any orientation or any direction. So I'm gonna go USB-C from the focus motor to the zoom motor, and then I'm gonna go from the focus motor into the top port on the front of the RS4 Pro. We're all plugged in, and right away the Lidar will start warming up. You'll hear a little fan movement, and the screen will show the Lidar image, and then we're ready to kind of start configuring the Ronin. Let's check our balance real quick. So roll balance is pretty ways off, so I'm gonna slide that to the right, bring it back, lifting up a little bit while I do that, so that's pretty good. My front and back is pretty good, but you always gotta check your vertical, and I'm very bottom heavy, so I'm gonna come up on that plate, that's the front there. Come up on the vertical. See how that is? Okay, now we're a little top heavy, so I'm gonna come back down. Just a hair. So now we're a little front heavy, so I'm gonna slide us back on that plate. And that's pretty good. A little top heavy still, so I'm gonna drop that down just ever so slightly. Okay, that's pretty good. All right, that's good to go. Of course, we'll do the normal auto tune on the RS4 Pro. Let's go and do that real quick. I always like to hold it when I do this because that's kind of the actual way it's gonna be used. Okay, there we go. So now we're calibrated, right? So I have tilt, and then if I switch that up, that changes me to zoom. So super handy to have all those functions at your fingertips. Now we'll wanna make sure to calibrate our motors. We'll just double tap that on the button there. Calibrate zoom, do the same for focus, double tap. And you wanna make sure that the motor says, it can say focus, iris, or zoom. If it's on zoom, you wanna make sure it's on zoom mode because that's gonna determine how this controls things. So now we have our focus on our thumb wheel here, and we have our zoom on our joystick. So we got both controls right there at your fingertips. Pretty cool. You could kind of fake this and put this on iris as well if you wanted iris control on your thumb. You can do it however you want, but right now we got focus and we got zoom. Then switch that switch there, and then we're back to being able to control the head. So we could use the screen on the back of the FX3 there to operate, but I like to have kind of an external monitor down here. So I'm gonna take the handle that's included in the kit. That gives us a little ¼ there to mount a monitor to, so I'm gonna throw that on. I'm also gonna throw on the camera control cable. USB-C is now in the back of the RS4 cage, and then that will plug into the FX3 USB port right there. All right, so that is our kind of single shooter build We got our focus motor, our zoom motor, all our controls right at our fingertips. Focus, zoom. Let's go calibrate the LiDAR and see what kinds of shots we can get with this setup. So I'm gonna go into the menus, gonna go to my LiDAR screen, select our flex spot meter. That's gonna help us do our LiDAR calibration. And then I'll go into the settings. I'll do lens profile. I'm gonna go to C1, custom 1, and delete what I have in there and add in this 11 to 20. So I'm gonna select 20 millimeters. I'm gonna calibrate those motors again. Okay, those are calibrated. Now the calibration for the LiDAR on the RS4 is very much similar to the way you do it with the DJI hand grip with the creator combo. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start at 1 meter. It's gonna guide you in. It tells you what to do on the screen. Basically get 1 meter away from, we have a dollar bill there for focusing. And I'm gonna focus magnify on the camera. And then I'm gonna use the thumb wheel to get that dollar bill sharp right there, making sure I'm still 1 meter away. And then I'm gonna tap on the screen. Step 1 complete. It'll tell you to go back to 4 meters. So I'm gonna go back to 4, watching the readout there. And I'm at 4. And then again, I'm gonna use the wheel here to get that dollar bill sharp. You can use a face, you can use anything. Just something with some detail. There we go, that's sharp. Making sure again I'm at 4 meters and tap. And that's it. So that is a fully calibrated LiDAR. It's just 2 steps. And you can see right now it's doing the autofocusing and I have the ability to zoom. So you can do shots now where your focus is being controlled automatically and you can do zoom. So you can do like cool Zolly shots. We'll try one of those right now. I do want to note you have to set your installation distance. So measure from the front of the LiDAR to the film plane, input that into your installation distance menu. In this case, it was 70 millimeters. If you don't do this, your autofocus will be off. All right, so we're gonna let the DJI Focus Pro do the autofocusing right now, and I'm gonna control the zoom on the RS4 Pro through the DJI Focus Pro. You're looking for somebody you once saw at an airport. A missed connection. So we got Dina here, who's gonna be our actor stand-in. Here we go. And pushing in, zooming out. You also have face tracking. So if I tap on the trigger, I'm gonna close my eyes and see what this camera can do without me looking. So I'm gonna hopefully not run into Dina here. I'm gonna do a little rap.
I didn't know what was happening.
I go back the other way. Literally have no idea what this looks like, but I'm gonna guess it's actually pretty usable.
You're good.
I hope it's tracking. So I'm gonna give you some feedback.
Turn left.
Turn left? Okay. Kind of shows pretty much anybody can now get decent shots on the RS4 Pro because even I can do it with my eyes closed. So I'm gonna start by following Dina here and go ahead. So it's locked onto the back of her head right now, which isn't something that all these systems could always do. So here, turn, go into profile, go all the way to leading. So this is great because I can just focus. I'm gonna get a little closer, Dina, so keep walking, keep walking. So I can get really close. Can back out to this wide. Nice. And we'll go back the other way. There's Rue. Come up high. Come down and around, making it easy on this 20mm lens. Getting really tight here. Not worrying about focus one bit. All right, so we switched our lens. We have a 50mm T2 on here now. Still got the autofocus going. We're gonna try and stress test this a bit. Got Dina again. I'm just gonna start with a straight push in. It shows her face there in the box. I can use the scroll wheel to get the different cars, select them for autofocus or her face. I'm gonna stay on her face for this one. Let's try that. So we're just using autofocus right now. I'm gonna move in. One thing to notice here is you can see it's focused on her far eye, and this just shows how shallow we're shooting.
Also shows that this is a face tracking feature. It's not an eye tracking autofocus. So when you're in those profile shots, that's kind of where the auto manual focus may come in, where you can actually manually select kind of the focus plane. But you see coming around frontal here, it actually performs really well even at an f2.
All right, so I'm gonna do one. I'm gonna lead Dina down the street here. I'm in active track, so I'm not having to operate at all. It's doing autofocus, it's doing everything. Dina's strutting her stuff. That works really well. Great. I mean, that shot traditionally would be so hard to do with someone pulling focus, potentially someone operating remotely. So this is pretty powerful and simplifies things a lot and lets a single shooter get more complicated shots than they usually would be able to. Now I can also tap and I can take control again. So now I'm panning. And then I can go back to active track if I want, just by tapping the trigger. See, I'm not doing anything. It's doing all the operating. And then if I want to take control again, say go to the feet, I just tap and I go down to the feet. Feet. Could have done better there, but you get the idea. Super powerful, lots of options right at your fingertips. So this is a great mode for your single shooter mode, but let's add a couple things to make the system even more powerful. We're gonna take the DJI Transmission transmitter, mount that to the bottom, and that'll link up with the DJI Transmission high bright monitor receiver, which will attach to the Focus Pro handset. So let's do that first. Get that attached. Goes right on there. There's some contact points in there, so some data gets shared. Power that guy up. So the DJI Transmission, there's a little plate you get with it that has this little kind of cold shoe on it, and that's just gonna slide onto the bottom of the RS4 Pro. We're gonna use this new power hub cable to power everything. Make sure though that when you're using the RS4 Pro, you use this cable to power the cable hub. Don't use the PTAP cable. I did this by mistake, and I may or may not have fried an RS4 Pro prototype. Power hub has a couple holes on there, so 1/4 mounting points, as well as these smaller holes. And I found that if you take a M4 screw, 2 of those, it actually mounts really nicely onto the DJI Transmission. I'm gonna plug in the USB-C into the transmission, plug in the DC in. The Lidar cable is gonna plug, I'm gonna unplug this from the RS4, and that's gonna go into our Lidar module, just like that. So this is gonna plug into the front of the RS4 Pro, this dual USB-C cable, go in right there, and that's gonna go to the cable hub, just like that. Make sure the DJI Transmission screen is facing forward, kind of make sure that all the cables can reach where they need to go. Our last cable is our motor cable. So this can plug into any of the motors first. It's all daisy chained, so I'm gonna plug that into the zoom motor. And then I'm gonna daisy chain the zoom motor to our focus motor. Next, I'm gonna power up the transmission. Our motors are getting power, so I'm just gonna double tap to calibrate the zoom there, double tap to calibrate our focus. We still have our handset connected, so I still have focus control there, as well as zoom control. I'm gonna go HDMI from out of the camera into the DJI Transmission. So the DJI Transmission also will convert your HDMI to SDI, so if you had an external monitor with SDI, you could run it that way, since there's only one HDMI output on this system. I'm gonna operate off the back screen for now, where you got the focus pulling monitor, doing focus, and we're gonna have a separate operator doing pan tilt, and we're gonna get 3 people involved and see what kind of complex shots we can come up with. So we only have one high bright monitor right now. You could do this with 2 high bright monitors and just do the kind of gyro mode, but what we've done now is plug the master wheels into Tate's high bright monitor. He's pulling focus off that. I'm gonna operate off this monitor, and he's gonna pull focus with a handset. So let's see what we can do here. Okay, yeah, this is like cinematic. This is where you have a ton of creative control. You can do handoffs like this. And we're inside the garage. He's walking to the street. Okay, this is gonna be a range stress test. They're going out onto the street. This is great. This is super fun.
side.
This range is crazy. I still have full control, you have focus control, and they're like through 2 buildings right now.
So for me, the image looks like it's coming out of an SDI port.
Let's bring them back. Now this is not line of sight. This is like through like 3 or 4 concrete walls, so that's impressive. The DJI Focus Pro handset has a wireless range of 160 meters or 520 feet. The DJI Transmission has a range of 20,000 feet. So you're basically always guaranteed to have a video signal while you're pulling focus with this system. So I can get to her face before we even see her face. Okay, that was cool. So the Lidar saw the shape of her face before the camera saw her face. So I was already ready on her face before it even came into frame. That I've never seen before. So all in all, the RS4 Pro puts more power and functionality into the user's hand, expanding what's possible with a small gimbal. I hope you enjoyed this look at the RS4 Pro. Subscribe for more.